So what is Enterprise Resource Planning, or ERP? It's a system and software package used by organisations of all sizes to manage day-to-day business activities such as accounting, procurement, project management and resourcing. And this is a really useful tool for architects to get familiar with because all of these things apply to how they work. The tool we're having a look at today is Total Synergy, which is a product I found a few years ago when I was doing some research around a lot of these tools for architects. This is one of the tools that is available out there, and I just wanted to show this to you because I think it's really good. I've really enjoyed looking into it and finding out more about it, and we're going to run through what that looks like today. You can see it does a huge number of different things actually, and we'll look at that in detail. Yeah, it seemed like a good opportunity to talk to you about that. So some of the features, top 5 features of this is that it helps you with project management. So it manages all aspects of projects, from initial proposal, budgeting to time tracking, invoicing and reporting. So there's a whole load of features in there that help you to manage that. Again, trying to stop the use of Excel and multiple Excel sheets linked together and things like that, or static documentation. And it has a really good interface, and it's all web-based, which I think is really valuable. It's a really good collaboration tool as well, so you can put in all of the team members internally and also external clients and stakeholders. You can add them all into the system and manage that in a really intuitive way. And then you can obviously share files, track changes and communicate through integrated messaging and commenting tools. So there's a lot of functionality in there, and from what I've seen so far, there's there's loads of things there which take some time to get used to. So we'll look at some of the integration of that later on. Financial management. This is crucial for managing and tracking projects and future cash flow. So you can manage expenses, timesheets and invoices through this, which is really great. And then you can generate reports as well and forecasts to disseminate to a wider senior management team. And it can obviously give you that on a consistent basis, and you can forecast really accurately from that. In addition to this, you've got resource planning, so you can look at all your resources in-house, see when people are on leave, see when people are at 100% or over that, if they're over, got too many jobs on and things. So it allows you to mix and match and alleviate some pressures that you have on certain people. And then you can schedule and forecast from there as well. And there's obviously resource allocation, and what the aim behind this is to minimize project delays. So trying to integrate that approach as much as possible. And then finally, there is a mobile app that goes with this as well, which is obviously really useful if you're out and about, which many architects are, and you can manage and update the information on the go, which is really useful. I'm not going to demonstrate that for you today because it's a bit trickier on a computer, but yeah, it's there and available if you want to use it. What you can see here is the web application interface. So then organization has been created for me here, but what we're going to have a look at today is the sample organizational information. So when you select this, it will open up. It will take a little time to populate. But it will give us an opportunity to have a look through the setup, what the options are, all the different functionality, and we're going to do a run through of this and just have a look at some of the functions. It's going to be a fairly quick review and look at all of these. I would recommend that you contact Total Synergy after this if you've got any questions or queries, and they'll be able to help in much more detail than what I'll be able to cover in this session. What you can see here is we have an interface. It's all web-based, which is great. Let's get rid of that. And you can see top right, you've got some of your settings. There's a timer and there's some notifications on this. And on the left-hand side, you have got the Synergy logo, which is where your home screen is. And then you can see we've got our organizations. So on the left-hand side, you've got a drop-down, and this has all of the functionality on the left that you can see here, and we'll have a look through some of these to show you what that can do. But what you can see is this is an incredibly comprehensive set of functionality that this offers across an office. You have got other issues across the top here, so you can see that at the moment we are in London Design Organisation. If we just go to a dashboard view, hopefully this will allow us to see a set of information across the organisation. So what you're seeing here is an overview of all of the projects, all of the tasks, all of the invoices, transactions, resourcing for the whole of this particular sample set or your organisation that would be in here. And it's giving you this overview from the outset, and you can see dashboard, and you've got obviously 55 projects, 10 unpaid invoices, 72 active contacts, timesheets. So there's a load of overview information here which you can export and create reports from for senior leadership team meetings on a weekly or bi-weekly basis if you need to. And this is a way of managing and organising your time and your resources on your projects. So I'm just going to have a look at these tabs along the top here. So we've got dashboard, and then Here we're looking at business. So this symbol here means that this is linking with Power BI, and Power BI is generating this information and data and then graphically illustrating that to make it easy to understand, which is a really neat way of doing this and much better than you're having to do this yourself with an Excel spreadsheet, a CSV file, and linking and managing all of that yourself. So this is all predefined for you and allows you to see all this information. Now, what I find interesting is on the bottom left here, you have got a toggle which allows you to look per office. So if you've got a number of different offices, you can interrogate that data and information based upon those, which I think is very useful. Let's have a look at finance. Again, same symbol again, so it's picking up all that data from in here. So you're starting to see some of the information from this. So debtors on here, invoice dates and information. You can select this information and it can give you slightly more different information within here. And you can obviously toggle between things here again, which is very useful. So again, it's just giving you a really good oversight of the organisational health at that time. Again, with sales, we've got the same level of information, so you can see how many proposals have gone out this month, how much work has been won, 2.4 million, well done. Win ratio 91%, which is excellent. So you can see that this is, a really healthy balance sheet, and you're able to see all this information. And what we're trying to do here is move away from Excel and having multiple spreadsheets and it being very difficult to interrogate that information. And this is a web-based solution which allows you to do that. And here is a overview of all the projects, which is great. Now, all of these are dummy projects. So if you click on these, they just go through to a blank page at the moment. But you can see that all this information is held in here. You can see who your biggest clients are, who's your biggest fee earners are in this area as well. So it's just giving you a really deep dive into this. And here again, you've got the ability to start itemizing that data out and understanding what that looks like. So doesn't look like there's any proposals out at the moment, which is great. Let's keep it on active. There you go. That's much better. And let's just have a quick look at people, because that will come relevant later on when we look at the staff in the office and how you can manage their resource. So you've got all of your different team members in here, so you can see they're all in here, and then you can see how much time is allocated in terms of their resource across the project, which is really great. And you can see what they're working on, what they're not working on. Again, you can look at their different offices that they're in. And if they've subdivided that down into teams, you can analyze that as well. And you can see how, utilized and non-utilized these individuals may be at any one time. Yeah, and you can see here you're able to select these different offices in themselves and see that information, which is really helpful. So to give an overview, the way this seems to work is that you have the left-hand side, and this is where you move through all of your different tabs to actually input all of this different information. Now, the key one I found is settings, which I think any organization will need to go to before they start on here. And you can see you've got organization, and if we just go to getting started, this is a really useful page. This gives you an overview of all of the things that need to be set up from the outset. And I really like this because you can go in here, open feature, and then it will give you the information here, which I think is really useful. And you can fill this all in and start adding this and making it unique to your organization. If I just go back a step, you can also see in here, there's a video here, which is really excellent. If I just turn the sound off that for the moment. So this will give you essentially, a really good overview of how this all works, which I think is really neat and useful to have it all embedded in one location rather than separate on YouTube or something like that. And again, you've got small videos set within here as well, which start to talk about actually when you want to set up the organization, run this video. It's only a minute and it starts to talk about how to do that. So this is going to be crucial for the implementation stage to start going through each of these tabs and updating and adding this information. If I just go back again, you've got settings here. So you can see all of these would need to be set up. So all your financial information, all your rates, financial controls, overtime rates, if you have them, currency and things like that. And you can move down through these and start agreeing these and understanding how they work. And what's interesting here is this does manage emails. So you can see on the left it says you could connect to Outlook here, which I think is quite good. And you can also connect to storage, which would be OneDrive, SharePoint, something like that as well. And again, so this is all of that information. So that would be the primary thing to start on here is populating all of that. If we go to the top one here, we've got timesheets. So this allows your staff to add in all of their time on a project, which I think is really helpful. It allows you to manage that in a sensible and manageable way. And in here as well, you've got different functions in terms of their travel expensive, cash, time. Up here on the top right, there is a timer. So if you've got a person who wants to, they can start recording their time and putting that into here as well. Or I think that you can run this live. So if you've got someone who enjoys working in that way, they can start timing it, they're live and updating their timesheets in that manner, which I think is, it does suit a certain type of person to do that, which I think is great. Got projects in here as well. So we've looked at these as an overview, but you can see all of these projects are in here. Let's try selecting one of these and see what happens. So you've got all the project information in here. It's status, start date, end date, project type. So lots of information there. You can obviously update that with the pen tool there. And you can see, fee cap, budget, how this is doing. So you can see its health across the whole of this project and update and manage this if you want to. And then across the top here, it's also got that information. If I just get rid of that, you can see it's again giving you just some metrics for this project, so you can see how it's performing really quickly, which I think is going to be really helpful. I wanted to look at CRM because typically these tend to be separate systems, but they've obviously thought that actually integrating it into this is a really useful tool for architects. And I think it probably would be, particularly if you've got leads generation and projects that you're trying to win. You can go into here and manage those contacts, those leads. You can add in different activities based on what you've done, whether you've had a call, meeting, email with them, and track that project. And you can assign it to certain people within the office to actually manage and keep on top of that, so that you can make sure you don't lose out on a lead, or you just keep on top and make sure you're coming through with that. Invoicing is also done through here, and I do have a question about whether this can be integrated into something like Xero. It probably doesn't need to be, because I think all of this is integrated within this platform, but it may be that you're already using an existing invoicing system, so it may be worth exploring what that looks like and how it works with this system. But you can see here it's generated an invoice, and it's got all the details of all the people's time on here, their hours, their rate, and that's obviously itemized this out into a form which can be issued to a particular client, and it can be managed from within here as well, I think via an email to the client, so that they can then pay it, which would be delightful. Let's have a look at another one of these here. So invoice payments, I was going to have a look at contacts. So again, this is similar to the CRM aspect of this. It may be that you may have a contacts list somewhere in Excel currently. I think you can probably export that as a CSV and import it into here. That would be a really sensible and useful way to do it, so you can keep hold of those and bring them into this spreadsheet format, and you can obviously manage and update these people as you need to. So yes, you can see them in here. This is a particular team member, and you can obviously see all of their information. So it's a really good way of managing the team in here. Let's have a look at staff as well. So yeah, so this is your staff list actually here. So this is where all your team would live. So you've got all these people here, their titles, and this then links into the resource planning side of this software. So you can add these people and you know what their role is and their status at any one time. To do is a really great tool as well. So it allows you to assign certain actions to people to manage and action things. So similar to what we're looking at with the CRM tool, you can start to add in here and start talking about different activities and managing this similar to like a Kanban style, and integrating this into this platform keeps it all in one place. It's very likely you may have another system for this, but the fact that the option is here, if you don't use something like this currently, is a useful integration. So when you come to planning, if we let's just have a look at resource planning, for example. So this will give you an overview of all the projects, and you can see here the people in red are over-resourced and they're over-allocated on jobs, and they may need to be moved around. People in blue are, I think, hatched in, are sort of planned for that, and then so the hatching is for planned and blue is for people who are assigned to that. And you're able to move around in here and obviously check where you are in terms of workflow, who's over allocated and who's under allocated, and trying to manage that in a better way. And in here you can see obviously that people are putting in leave and actually managing that, so that they can put that in here, and you can start to see different users as well, what projects they're working on and how many hours they've assigned to those based on their timesheets. If we go down here, let's just go to revenue forecasting. So what this is key to any organisation is to being able to manage their finances and make sure that they have everything planned as far ahead as possible. And this gives you a really great overview to say, actually, look, we know that this project's doing really well. There's a really consistent fee income coming across projects, but we can see from September onwards, actually some additional fees and new projects are going to be needed. And actually looking down here, there's some more work here coming in. And this is reflected below with this line, and you can see actually by January 2024, revenue is great, but then after that we need to start finding some additional work. So that's not untypical, looking ahead for about 9 months from where we are right now. But yeah, you can start to see this and interrogate this data and understand what it looks like. It's just, as someone who's organising and managing a practice, this becomes incredibly powerful. Let's just look at project performance as well. So yeah, so you can see here how much has been earned on it and where it is. Earned 1%. It's only just started out, this particular project. It looks like it's just a proposal at this time, so that's not really moved forward. But then other projects are progressed much further, and you can start to say actually how far or how complete that project is, and then that will update, and all this information will be drawn across for your project management and time management as well, and resource planning. So in here is also, if you have weekly, bi-weekly or monthly meetings, you may want to produce reports, and there's some standard ones which are already set up in here. So you can see revenue and forecast by client. It's been set up, and you can run this report. Let's try this in here. It gives you what this is. Okay, that, and then it will give you that report here, and then you're able to print that and export that if you want to. Yeah, so it's just running in the background here, which is great. So with that sort of templating already built in, it means a lot of this information is already built here for you. Keep, and they become your starred and becoming really important ones, which I think is really good and really helpful. Hopefully that gives you a really good overview of Total Synergy. I think it's a really powerful tool. It's web-based. It's based on a software as a subscription model. I think have a look and have a chat with the people there if you want to. There will be links in the box below, and I would recommend you have a look and try and improve the way that you work. So that is an overview of Total Synergy, a really powerful tool to help you get over your use of Excel and start to manage your projects and use enterprise resource planning to take your practice forward and use that in a really effective manner. Hopefully that's been really helpful. If you have any questions, please get in touch and leave queries in the links below. There are some links below to Total Synergy. If you want to get in touch with them, they'd be very happy to hear from you. And that is all for this week. Thanks very much.